There's often an irony to artistic inspiration. It can launch me into a creative frenzy, brain firing with all sorts of ideas. But it can also drag me into the pits of immense self-doubt. One Piece does both these things to me. I've been attempting comics for several years now at this point. Well, actually, in all honesty, it's been closer to like 2 decades. Ever since I was a small 6-year-old fetus running around stapling folded sheets of paper, taking inspiration from a variety of sources. Whether it was the Horrible Histories magazines that would be mailed to our door, random Marvel comics that I came across in corner shops, or manga that I would pick up at the school library. Around this period would also be my first exposure to One Piece, and I'll admit, I picked up a volume, looked at the cover, and I thought it was gay. So I put it down and grabbed a volume of Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead. It wouldn't be until several years later, during my early teens, when I would finally jump back into One Piece. It was hard to ignore, with friends recommending it and Luffy being plastered all over the various anime websites I'd frequent. So I dove headfirst into the anime, and despite what people claim about early One Piece, with it being slow, outdated, shoddy animation, which is all technically true, I was still utterly enthralled. The humor, the emotions, the sense of adventure, it was all such a vibe. There are multiple arcs that permanently rewired my brain. Arlong Park, with the emotional gut punch of Nami's backstory and that iconic scene. Alabasta, with the heightened stakes, political intrigue,
and that iconic scene.
Water 7 with the crew falling out, Robin's heartbreaking backstory.
And that iconic scene.
Marineford with a million iconic scenes, there's too many to fucking list. Ever since, any and all stories that my little goblin brain would cook up would have traces of One Piece, intentional or not. But there was always a part of me that felt underwhelmed by my attempts. It never felt right. It lacked the energy and finesse that all my favorite works of art had. I would often end up in this state of rumination. My admiration would morph into a sense of insecurity. And it's silly because, why would I ever expect to be on the level of Eiichiro fucking Oda of all authors? He's literally a king amongst kings, a goat amongst goats. And it's a trap I think a lot of artists can get into. You experience a work of art and you sometimes study it even. You develop a solid grasp on what makes it good, what makes it click. And you think to yourself that you get it, that you can make something just as good. But it's simply theory without practice. And often the first attempts at applying your knowledge into an actual body of work, it's always going to be messy. You're never going to get it right the first time. It's going to come off amateurish. It's like watching Ronaldo play football and you think to yourself that because you are half decent at kicking a ball, you can get to that level of play. The thing is, most people can easily understand that they likely will never reach the level of pro athletes, right? Because it's easy to gauge your own physical prowess. Most people are not fit enough to do pro athlete shit. But a lot of artists, creatives, writers, and so on, it's easy to overestimate one's ability because it's all in the brain, right? It's all quite loose, abstract, cerebral. It's not as concrete. There isn't a creative bench press for you to do. The fact that art isn't as reliant on easy to measure factors or hard knowledge often makes it a landmine of disappointment. We delude ourselves into thinking our skills should match our taste, rather than the effort we have put into building our creative muscles. This is something I've had to deal with and still do from time to time. I'm currently slowly chipping away on a project, and whilst I'm fairly happy with the way it's shaping up, it is still in the early stages though, mind you. I'll sometimes see an illustration that has me question my talent, or a new chapter of One Piece will drop that somehow, some way, just continues to expand and deepen the lore, the characters, this grand narrative that Oda has woven for nearly 30 years. And I'll go back to my story notes, and I'll be reminded that, man, I am just not him. I'm not him. But the difference now is I'm able to come out of those moments unscathed, ready to push forward with my work. It just took some reframing. I stopped expecting the thing I'm working on to be my One Piece. I instead prioritized taking a more methodical approach to developing my skills at illustration and writing, taking things one step at a time, getting really involved in the artistic process. It took a few failed attempts, scrapped projects, and several ego-shattering moments, but I now feel way more secure about my work. Not to say I never feel doubt or become critical of my own stuff, but those moments no longer put me in a stun lock. I don't need to be Oda, or like Fujimoto or Miura, or insert a million other masters that I admire. My work does not need to be at their level right now. It's not like Oda came out the womb writing Water 7. They all went through their own artistic journey to reach that point, and I'm on my own artistic journey to reach my point. I will never make anything like One Piece, and I'm okay with that.